I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
A campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is 20.
She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
Hold up. Not DaBaby coming out to expose Beyonce for being a freak-off party child. This entire mess with Diddy just keeps going deeper and deeper because a snippet of DaBaby's interview with Shannon Sharpe from a few months ago, in which he spilled major tea about Beyonce and Jay-Z being at Diddy's freak-off party, is now going viral. People are speculating that Jay was pimping Beyonce out to Diddy for their business deals. There have been rumors going around for a hot minute now about Jay treating Beyonce like Diddy was treating Cassie, but people were in denial about it because of the power couple image that Jay and Beyonce had in public. Anyway, he keeps Beyonce up for days on end to make her indulge in depraved activities. The crazy thing is, even outside of DaBaby, a lot of other people who closely work with Beyonce have also come out to spill the tea about this. But it took DaBaby, of all people, to get folks to wake up from their sleep and clock what's been really going on. Now, I'm sure most of y'all know this by now, but Diddy's reign as the villain in the industry has officially come to an end after Homeland Security busted him and threw him in jail. As we speak, he's been denied bail twice in the span of 48 hours by 2 separate judges. Despite literally offering a bond of $50 million and sacrificing all of his properties, his mom's properties, and the passports of every single one of his kids. The judges are really standing on business, and they want that demon to stay in his maggot-infested cell till the trial starts. If that wasn't bad enough, he's facing up to years in jail, and even his defense team is unsure about exactly how they're going to get him out of this. When it comes to the exact details of the arrest, it turns out that during the raid of his house months ago, they found firearms, ammunition, and more than 1,000 bottles of lubricant. During a recent press briefing, U.S. Prosecutor Damon Williams said they also found 3 semi-automatic weapons with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine. Prosecutors also accused Diddy of creating a criminal enterprise whose members, under his direction, engaged in forced labor, kidnapping, arson, and bribery. He and others around him struck, punched, dragged, threw objects at, and kicked victims to fulfill his desires. But this is where things started getting even more complicated. Things got crazier because the prosecutors explicitly stated that Diddy wasn't running this enterprise on his own. They revealed that he had other celebrities and powerful people heavily involved in these criminal activities. This information was disclosed in his indictment, which states, "For decades, Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. PD, a.k.a. Love, the defendant, and others around him fulfilled his desires, protected his reputation, and concealed his conduct." Now, I need y'all to really pay attention to this part. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled. This created a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in, and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The prosecutors didn't explicitly reveal the names of these individuals, as they are still gathering evidence against them for trial. However, this statement opened the door for speculation about who those people might be. As you can guess, Jay-Z and Beyonce were at the top of everyone's list. Rumors about Beyonce and Jay being involved intensified when a clip of DaBaby being interviewed on Shannon Sharpe's show a few months ago went viral. In this interview, DaBaby spilled some tea that nobody was expecting. He recounted the time he met Beyonce and Jay-Z at one of Diddy's industry parties at his house. He held back on details about the party, but he mentioned there were powerful people there and that Beyonce walked up to him to introduce herself, almost as if she were trying to flirt. DaBaby also revealed that Diddy kicked out all the other non-important guests, leaving only him, Beyonce, Jay, and a few other high-profile people in the room. According to DaBaby, Diddy started to get a little touchy and even put his hands around DaBaby's neck. He described it, saying, "I was at a party at Diddy's crib in LA. This was the beginning of, you know what I mean. Diddy had put everybody else out. He had taken a liking to me in particular around that time. He was really, you know what I mean, putting his arm around me." DaBaby continued. "He had put the majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there, along with maybe a few others, Jay-Z and Beyonce being two of them. So that puts into perspective the type of company I was in at that moment. And she came over and introduced herself to me like, 'Cut it out, but I'm a big fan of your work.' That was dope as hell to me." This revelation sent the internet into a frenzy and had a lot of people giving Beyonce the side eye. One person remarked, "Oh, she came over and introduced herself to you? Beyonce introduced herself to you? Ooh, we waking it up." Another person said, "You let that man put his arm around you?" Of course, there were comments suggesting it wasn't just about DaBaby's music, but about other dynamics at play. Some speculated that Jay was out here trying to keep Beyonce close to Diddy. There have been allegations about Jay-Z controlling Beyonce to keep her in check, adding more fuel to the fire of these rumors. Doing things she wouldn't usually do if she were sober, Beyonce has allegedly been under the influence for a long time. Not only that, but Jay reportedly puts his hands on her when she goes out of order. These rumors were actually started by her ex-bodyguard, Uncle Ron, who worked for her during the early stages of her career. I'll say it. Yeah, Beyonce's been on substances for a while, and Jay keeps her that way. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Jay allegedly keeping her on is very similar to what Diddy was doing to Cassie. Remember, Cassie said the only way she could indulge in those situations was if she was under the influence because she couldn't do it sober. But it doesn't stop there. Jaguar Wright also stepped into the conversation a few months ago, accusing Jay of keeping Beyonce on substances for the same reasons Uncle Ron claimed. Why has Jay-Z been coming up a lot lately? Because he's a monster. There was a viral video of Beyonce looking zoned out at a basketball game with Jay, where she could barely keep her eyes open and kept slowly swinging her head from side to side to stay awake. Her PR team tried to cover it up, claiming she was just tired from rehearsals, but nobody bought it. Shortly after that, Beyonce's assistant told Media Takeout that Jay had been putting his hands on Beyonce. The assistant said, "It seems that for a while he's had a problem with keeping his hands to himself." While the assistant had never seen him outright strike Beyonce, they had seen him shove and push her. Initially, they thought it was just playful horseplay, but once they witnessed how embarrassed Beyonce was to be manhandled in front of them in Saint-Tropez, it was clear it was no joke. The assistant mentioned, "He treats Beyonce like she's an object, not a person." It's unclear how far Jay-Z has dragged Beyonce into this mess, but it's about to get exposed. No amount of fame or power is going to stop him, especially with Diddy's trial coming up. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this. I love B, but unfortunately, she's caught up in the mess just by being married to Jay. There's been so much said about how he has Beyonce under control. Honestly, I'm not surprised she was at a random Diddy party. Y'all always try to separate your faves from the BS, but you forget they live that Hollywood life. You can't trust anyone in Hollyweird. Most of your faves have kept silent about all this. Another person pointed out that Jay-Z was good friends with R. Kelly, and now Diddy seems to fit a pattern. I don't believe Beyonce was just some innocent bystander in all of this. Now I want to know your thoughts. What do y'all think about Beyonce allegedly being at Diddy's party? Do you think Jay-Z was her out, as DaBaby is insinuating? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other, very messy video.